Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about how Saturn is going to affect you in accordance to where your moon or your ascendant is. Yes, in Vedic astrology, we are very concerned about where the moon is instead of where the sun is. So please find out your sidereal Vedic ascendant sign and your moon sign, and then listen in, and you're going to see what will unveil over the course of the next 2.5 years as Saturn is now in Pisces. Saturn just entered Pisces March 29th this year, 2025, and it will be remaining in Pisces for the next 2.5 years. So let me start with, first of all, if you don't know your Vedic sidereal ascendant or moon sign, you can go to my website, galacticcenter.org. I have a free chart calculator, and put in all your information, but remember to scroll to the very bottom and look where it says AS, that's your ascendant, or MO, that's your moon. Now, if you want more than just looking this up, get my Galactic Planner. That will give you a printout, and it will also give you a description of all the transits to your birth chart. It is so worth it, and it even does your dashas. So trust me, if you haven't tried my Galactic Planner, you're missing out. Give it a try. You're going to love it. Go to galacticplanner.com, and that will figure out your moon sign and your ascendant, and it is very clear as to what it is in the planner. So let's get going here. Yes, I want you to know what Saturn's going to unveil for you during this time period. So if your sidereal moon or ascendant is in Aries, this means that Saturn has just entered into your 12th house. The 12th house is about endings, conclusions, finishing up things, retirement. It also deals exclusively with a lot of things from the past. And with Saturn being here, a lot of things are going to be brought up from the past that you're here to heal. Now, you cannot move forward and heal your life till you've concluded and finished all the work and karma from your past. Now, you got 2.5 years to work on it, so it's not going to be all at once. But this is really all about what we're here for, what life's about. Healing our issues around family, and that will unveil a lot of things dealing with your past. Now, another thing is the 12th house will deal with foreign lands and countries, and you might find that things come up concerning working with people from other countries and or traveling, but Saturn could curtail this, make it not as often, because Saturn does kind of bring things to an end. But here's another thing. The 12th house deals with people behind the scenes, as well as what we call secret enemies. And Saturn being there, you must be very cautious about things from the past, and particularly people that you don't know that might be trying to talk behind your back or bring you down. So Saturn will bring it out, that you will start to understand who you can trust and not trust, especially people from the past. And Saturn in the 12th house, this will definitely mean that you are bringing things to an end, completion, maybe retirement. It's time. And do be aware that the 12th house also deals with spirituality, and this could represent deep spiritual growth through the healing of different karmas. So this is really your advantage. It heals and gets you prepared for a new beginning. So this is Saturn in the 12th house for everyone that has either the moon or the ascendant in Aries. So if your moon or ascendant sit in Taurus, then this means that Saturn is in your 11th house for the next 2.5 years. And this represents that you're clearing house with all of the old friends that things actually didn't work out so well, that you felt like your relationship kind of died and you have nothing in common. So you're clearing it out. Remember that this is really clearing the decks for a whole new group of friends to come. But during this time, you do feel a little lonely, not as many friends. And even if you do have friends, you don't feel like you associate with them or connect with them anymore. And another thing, it could just mean that friendships are dying, and the friends that you do come together with could be older. Now, the 11th house is also the house of great gains. You could find that this is a time that you could sell some things to bring in gains. You probably won't make as much money as originally you wanted to, because Saturn does limit. And the other aspect of the 11th house, it does deal with the eldest sibling. So if you have an older sibling, this could mean that they're going to have issues or problems. Things could go wrong in their lives. But more than anything, it could mean that maybe even your relationship with them kind of goes by the wayside. You're just not connecting and not understanding one another. But anyway, it could just mean that things in their life have become more difficult in a struggle, and maybe you're going to have to help them. That's another thing. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Gemini, then Saturn is now in your 10th house for the next 2.5 years. The 10th house is your work, your career, your profession. And Saturn here actually means you're going to be working harder, but you can get much more rewards from the hard work here in your 10th house. And the 10th house deals with bosses, people you work for, or companies or organizations. This could mean that you could change. And it's much better that you work for yourself. But Saturn here will mean that you're not feeling a sense of purpose or meaning with your career and your work. And maybe this needs to change. If your ascendant or your moon sign sit in the sign of Cancer, this means that Saturn is now in your 9th house for the next 2.5 years. And this means that you start to question things that you believed in before. This is about your truths, your beliefs, and they're changing. You're starting to get a little bit you're starting to get a little bit more realistic, and this can make you a little bit cynical about some of the things that you believe, particularly your religious beliefs or spirituality. It's like you're like, how can there be a divine with the way the world is? You become a little bit cynical, and it's hard for you to believe certain things. But all at the same time, you will be learning a lot of new things, and you are really putting forth a lot of effort and energy to learn the truth and what's real. Now, if your father's still around, you will find within the next 2.5 years, he could have a decline. Maybe things are difficult in his life, maybe he's retiring, or maybe health-wise he's declining. Be aware, be of help if you can. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Leo, this means that Saturn is now in your 8th house. And the 8th house is a very difficult house. It can deal with getting to the bottom of things, major areas of research and analysis. This can be very helpful. It can help you heal your life and get better, maybe get into some kind of therapy or healing. This is very 8th house. Or you become very serious about some of your metaphysical studies. And all at the same time, the 8th house deals with money through other people. So you'll find that maybe the money that you're waiting on is withheld or delayed, or it doesn't come through like you expected it to. Now, Saturn is also karma, and this deals with a healing of past karma that can really help change your life. This can be very deep and profound. And the 8th house, dealing with research, you could get to the bottom of many scientific things that you've been searching for, especially about health and healing, that could make your life better. So if your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Virgo, this means that Saturn is now in your 7th house for the next 2.5 years. And this tells me that relationships become a focal point. You've got to work harder to make it work. Maybe there's some things that you've been ignoring that will surface, and you can heal to better yet improve your relationship. If you're not in a relationship, this could actually be beneficial in bringing someone into your life, someone that is a lasting relationship, something that is possibly even with somebody more mature or older. And or your partner, if you are married, maybe they're struggling and maybe there's a setback in their life, maybe health-wise or business-wise. So watch for that. If your moon or your ascendant sits in sidereal Libra, then Saturn will be in your 6th house for the next 2.5 years. And this means you need to watch your health. You need to get serious and get to work. Start changing your habits, your diet, exercise, get it together, because Saturn is about responsibility. And you need to be responsible about how you've been treating your body and your health. And if you have any pets, you might find that they're in a downward cycle for the next 2.5 years. It's also about work. And you might find that the people you work with are not so easy to work with, and or your employees will leave you high and dry when you need them the most. If your ascendant or moon sign sit in sidereal Scorpio, then this means Saturn is in your 5th house. And if you have children, you're going to find maybe this is the time you're becoming an empty nester. A child is leaving to go away for college or leaving home for some other reason. This is what this deals with, many changes in our lives with our children. And or it could mean that you have a child that needs more attention, more care, and this will help them tremendously. And if you're trying to get pregnant, sometimes Saturn here can help you. It can help you, but pregnancy may be more difficult. This can be a time that you learn great knowledge and wisdom, as the 5th house is intelligence, mind, and learning. And the things that you learn, you will really gravitate to, and you will find them to be meaningful and extremely important. It could be the time for a new business, but it's not particularly a good time for investments. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Sagittarius, then this could be where Saturn is going to be for the next 2.5 years in your 4th house. And this could be some changes in the home. It could even mean a move to maybe downsize, get to a place that's more realistic and easy to manage. But there's something about a responsibility that you must have around the home and also towards your family. It can also be the time that maybe you need to buy another car. But all in the same time, if your mother's still alive, then this means she's going to need more help. She is in a downward cycle during this time as well. But this can also mean renovation and changes and rebuilding around the house, around the household, the home. And it could mean that there's less family celebrations and gatherings, maybe because you're moving. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Capricorn, then this means that transiting Saturn will be in your third house for the next 2.5 years. And this means that you're wanting to learn new things, but it's a little bit of a struggle, but you are disciplined enough to learn and focus. And yes, this can be a good time for you to get that book written. You must have the diligence of focus, and you must have the discipline to get it done. And this would be extremely rewarding. But if you have any brothers or sisters, and especially younger ones, they may be having problems. They may need your help. As well as maybe you cut them off. You don't want to associate with them anymore because they're too difficult to deal with. But all at the same time, you're going to find that you shy away from communications and all of the media things that you used to be so enthralled with. And you might find that you're not going to be traveling as much or spending as much time in a vehicle. If your moon or your ascendant sit in sidereal Aquarius, then this means that transiting Saturn is in your second house. Now, we always think of the second house as being money, so this could be a time that you really organize and bring things together in the area of your finances. It's not necessarily a bad time financially, it's just a time for you to reassess everything and reorganize your finances so that you will do better in the future. And you might find that you have some problems getting along with family members because this is also a second house variable, family and family gatherings. So you might find that you feel disconnected with the family during this time. The second house also deals with the mouth in terms of what we eat and what we say. So with Saturn being here, you might feel that you're blocked in terms of what you want to say to people. You can't get it out. It just isn't. You're not capable of expressing yourself properly with your voice. And or you might not be eating as much. There might be where food and things don't agree with you and you're not eating as much. This could actually cause you to lose weight if that's what you want to do. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Pisces, then this means that Saturn is now in your first house. And this can be difficult, because the first house is you. You might feel some setbacks, delays, but more than anything, you're going to feel a sense of responsibility for other people. And I do find for some reason when Saturn's in the first house, people have problems with their mother. So be aware that she might need some help. But the first house is also the house that deals with your confidence, who you are, your position, how you look. And yes, Saturn here in the first house could cause you to lose weight, but you might feel like you're drawn, you're exhausted, you're tired. And with that, make sure you're drinking a lot of water and you take care of your health and you stay healthy, hydrated, and working together to get yourself feeling good. Because remember, Saturn is about responsibility and work. And this is the time that you just have to work on yourself for self-improvement. So with that, I have covered all of the 12 signs, what to expect with Saturn being in with your ascendant sign, from your ascendant sign or your moon sign. But let me just say this. There's other planetary situations going on. This is just one focus. And Saturn is where we need to focus in terms of what we need to improve in our life. So even though Saturn can be a downer at times, remember, when we work hard and we focus in on the area that Saturn's telling us to focus in on, we will improve our lives. So I hope you came to the end with me. Most people will only listen to their sign and miss all of this. But regardless, remember, Saturn is our teacher, and it's our sense of responsibility. We have to have Saturn in our lives. So with that, I think I'll close. Remember, if this has inspired you to want to learn astrology, I have the most stellar school out there. It's all online and self-paced. Become my student. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.